Let's bring in Eric Schiffer from Los Angeles. He's a reputation management consultant, best-selling author, CEO of the Patriarch Group. So if your reputation is smeared, you go to Eric and he tries to help you out. So he follows, all the smears in the news every day. He knows what's happening. I get a lot of mail, Eric, from my listeners asking, what can I as an American do about all this political hatred? I don't like it. It's destructive for the country. It's hurting my children. Can I do anything? Can ordinary people do anything?
Well, I think the best thing that you can do is certainly exercise your rights as an American to vote for candidates that are not going to, as part of their political process, like you described, that's upcoming in this 2020 election, use hate as a underpinning and a premise for how they're going to drive votes. And I think you've got to look for candidates that are going to take a higher plane and that want to bring, I think, America to a place where we all experienced, certainly under Ronald Reagan in the 80s and earlier, where we didn't have this level of division, this tribalism, where both, I think, individual parties, but also the media propagate to such a level that it's incredibly unhealthy for children. And I think just your normal life.
No doubt it diminishes America. But what you're saying, though, is impossible this time around because Donald Trump has been attacked so viciously and vilely that he has to fight back. Now, he doesn't have to do it the way he does it, but that was successful. So Trump overcame the Republican challengers in 2016 and the press that didn't like him, although the press wasn't as hostile back then because they didn't think he was going to win. And they were happy that he ran against Hillary Clinton because they thought Clinton was going to trounce him. But he has to fight back. Again, it's a matter of degree, but if Donald Trump left all of this fake news and all of this smear and defamation unanswered, he'd drown, would he not?
Yeah, he would drown. And I think that he has to fight back. Otherwise, he would get tremendously defined. I think there is certainly a movement. I see it in Hollywood where it's in vogue. It continues to be to bash Donald Trump. It's a strategy for many actually in Hollywood to get hired. Certainly people that have been, whose careers have been washed up or desperate. And, using Trump is shoveling red meat to, it's like shoveling red meat to a celebrity vegan. I mean, there is such a froth of hatred that causes people that have had credibility in the past to lose it because some of the decisions that they make. I mean, like Elisa Milano, for instance, I think that she, in getting so triggered, just eviscerates her credibility. And notwithstanding, I think, one of the things that many of these celebrities forget about is when you begin to attack the president, you're also attacking 45% of the American public's
Yeah, but they
belief.
don't care about that. As you said, they want to work. And if you attack the president, it's easier to get a job, easier to get hired, whether you're a screenwriter, a director, an actor, whatever it may be, because the groupthink in Hollywood is 95%. But what you have now is an organized media that has partnered up with the Democratic Party to get rid of Trump. Now, the media has always leaned left. We all know that. They had no use for Ronald Reagan. They had no use for Bush the Elder or Bush the Younger. But now it's, okay, this guy's so bad, he's a racist, he's this, that we're going to partner up and use all our tremendous resources and money to help the Democratic Party. And they even talk. They talk and coordinate and things like that. There's no doubt that I know they do. So, Trump is basically a standalone. He's got the folks to the tune of 40%. But that's not enough to get reelected. So I just see hate, obscuring all the important issues in the campaign. It's going to be hate, 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 hate.
Yeah. Well, in order to win, he's going to have to eviscerate the other side, because you're going to have to drive down the negative to such a, drive up the negatives to such a point. And look, your point about the media is a fascinating one, because you see so many journalists and producers and who had always really in the past, I think, perhaps tried to present a more even perspective, that are now openly pandering
listen,
those on the left.
if you're fair to Donald Trump and you work for the New York Times or the Washington Post or CNN or MSNBC, your career is going nowhere. It's going nowhere.
Yeah, well, and also,
You're
and
punished.
also, I think, your ratings are going to be impacted. I mean, people want the echo chamber of hatred against Trump. They're tuning in for it. And what's fascinating to me is, how many variations of hate there has been. I mean, you would think that at some point the audience on the left would tune out, but it's not happening.
No, I mean, they're going after kids now, high school kids, because they wore the hat. I mean, it's so out of control. They're so consumed. Final question for you. If you were hired by President Trump today, because you're a reputation guy, would you say to him, look, not only do you have to eviscerate Nancy Pelosi, the Democratic structure, and whoever they put up against you, but you have to try to rehab your own reputation to some extent to attract the independent voters? Or would you say to him, don't worry about that, just go on offense, just let them have it right between the eyes? What would you do?
I think it has to be a bifurcated strategy, Bill. They're going to need to be very clever in picking the battles, because they're going to need to bring back the independence. And I think that, look, the economy and what Trump has done with the economy still remains, I think, his greatest asset. So to the extent that he can create an argument that it's required to continue to keep him in there, continue to throw enough at independence, but eviscerate and frame whatever the Democratic candidate is going to be as ineffective, incompetent, and really brand them in a way that will hurt them.
Harmful to the nation. That's what this State of the Union thing is. That's why Donald Trump wrote that letter today. He's trying to get across to the American people that Nancy Pelosi and her followers are harmful to the country. The problem is, it's not going to be reported that way. All right? That 90% of the media is going to say it's Trump's fault the government shut down. We don't need the wall. Pelosi's right, and Trump's bad again. So it's hard for him to get his message out, and the networks don't even want to give him airtime now.
Well, what's interesting is that's true, assuming that we had the frame of perhaps the 90s and 2000 and even 2010. But I think with social media, with programs like yourself, with other programs in which people are getting their news in ways that are on demand, in ways that are specific to what they're looking for, he has a far better chance than at any time in the history, I think,
agree.
of this country.
And he's got his Twitter thumb. He's got all that, and everything he does is, and I agree, he does have that option where you didn't have in the past. Eric, thanks very much. You're a smart guy. We really appreciate you coming on and helping us out today.
Oh, my pleasure, Bill. Great to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you.